All right, on Checkpoint tonight, as you know, we now check the facts. And of course, Alphonse Shundu is here with me. He's a Kenya editor for Africa Check. And like we promised you last week, we'll be taking a look at some statements that were made during the budget statement that was read out by the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury, Rotich. So tonight on the show, we're taking a look at this claim that has been made not only by the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury, but indeed by a number of others within the government. Karibu.
Asante.
Did I say that?
Thank you.
Bad
thank
manners.
You, thank you.
I'm sorry, forgive me. So here is this claim that Alphonse is going to break down for us. This was made by Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich. He said, in 4 years, we have connected more Kenyans to the grid than in all years since independence. He then went on to say that more than 5.2 million Kenyans have been connected to the grid compared to the 2.3 million in 2013. So, but Alphonse, this is the number that we have, but like we said, he's not the only one who's been making these claims about electricity connections, right?
Exactly.
So there have been many others. It's a bit contradictory.
It's a bit contradictory,
Okay.
but we, at least on this one, we have a base.
Okay.
So the first thing we do at Africa Check, when somebody asks you, when somebody makes a claim, we ask for the evidence.
Okay.
So we asked the Treasury, where did you get the numbers?
Right.
And they told us they got the numbers from the Kenya Power and from the Ministry of Energy and collected figures from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics.
Okay.
So we then went ahead and looked at the numbers as
The other
were
numbers
available.
as were
Yes.
available. Let's take a look at the
So-
next one so we can see those numbers Alphonse was talking about.
Yes, so we looked at the numbers that were there. So the State of the Nation address, the President said there were 3.7 million
Right.
people. When you look at this and you do the math,
Yeah.
you can...
Yeah. We can move to the next one so we can
Yes.
just take a look at those numbers. Yeah,
When-
there we go. So
Yes.
here's what he said.
Yes, when you looked at, you work out Rotich's numbers, they come out to 2.9 million
Right.
customers. Remember, Rotich was speaking 15 days after the President had made this claim that 3.7 new connections had been made.
Okay.
So, but in between
Yeah.
the President's statements and Rotich's statements, the Standard Group, the Sunday Standard wrote
Yes.
a story that...
Paul Wafula did,
Yes,
yeah.
Paul Wafula. That nearly 1 million of those connections were a bit off.
Yeah.
They were not working. So when you look
Does
at
that-
this,
yeah.
the figures that Rotich gave, who spoke 15 days
Yeah.
after the President...
Or a bit more modest than
yes,
what the
were
President
a
had
bit
stated.
more modest than what the President
Okay,
had said.
but this
Now-
figure here is about the connections that were there made by Kenya Power in 2013?
Yes, in
Okay.
2013.
All right.
Now, when you look at the figures for Kenya Power
Yeah.
for 2013, this is the figure.
2.33.
Yeah, 2.33 million. And Rotich and the President and the Minister and Kenya Power itself have been consistent that the connections in 2013 were 2.3 million.
So on that, we're
On that,
consistent.
they do agree.
Okay.
So we went back to the Kenya Power reports and looked at what was the connection, how has the connection moved. The latest information that we have from Kenya Power, which they gave to their investors, is the annual report of Kenya Power, which has 4.89 million customers. Now, they declared that in June 2016.
Right.
Now, in January this year, the MD of Kenya Power retired.
Yes.
And as he was retiring, he spoke and said he's very happy that he has moved the connections to 5.5. Then the Minister of Energy issued a communique, a brief, that said the connections are now at 5.5. So when you look at that, by January, it was an additional new connections of 3.3 million customers.
Okay.
So what were we, if we use all these numbers, all the numbers that have been made, you see that the Jubilee administration is correct, that it has doubled the number, that it has connected more people to power than all governments since independence. That is a correct claim, verified by the numbers. Records are in public domain, and our report at www.africacheck.org verifies that. We have links to everything we have declared.
So despite
Yes.
these inconsistencies, 2.9 million, 3.79 million, the claim that the Jubilee administration has connected more persons to the electricity grid than since independence is
Than
in
all-
fact?
Correct.
So it is fact.
Yes, that is a fact.
Okay, so
Yes.
that is your fact tonight, ladies and gentlemen.